So sorry, Year 2. Part 1 has finished. I don't know why the video stopped, but here is Part 2 of English. I'm going to read Flotsam, and I'd like you to listen for the ly adverbs that you can hear. I'll read it twice, once with no clues, and then the second time I'll give you some clues about where those adverbs are. You don't have to write them down. You could do, that would really help, but do try to keep count of how many adverbs you can hear. I'm going to read Flotsam now. Sam stared at the strange creature through his magnifying glass. It had a patterned shell, small claws, and funny-looking antennae. Sam was a curious child, and he loved to explore all sorts of weird and wonderful things. What else can I find hiding on the beach? He wondered to himself. He quickly grabbed his bucket and spade and walked down to the shoreline. He was busy investigating a crab when suddenly he was tipped over by a huge wave. Crash! What was that lying in the sand? A mysterious box. Sam picked up the box and looked at it carefully. It was an underwater camera. He asked everyone on the beach, but they didn't know who it belonged to. When he opened the camera, Sam found an old film case. He rushed excitedly to the nearest photo shop to have the pictures developed. What would he find in the photos? He waited patiently for a very chatty woman to finish the pictures. When he finally saw them, he was amazed. In one photo, a clockwork fish was swimming through the ocean. In other pictures, a blue spotty octopus was reading a book, a pufferfish was flying through the air, and turtles were swimming gracefully with beautiful shell cities on their backs. In others, tiny green aliens had landed underwater, and enormous starfish islands were marching through the waves. Sam couldn't believe his eyes. The camera had captured secrets of the deep that people hadn't ever seen before. What's this? There were pictures of people in the photos. Sam looked even more closely. There were lots and lots of people, and each person was holding a picture. Sam peered carefully through his microscope so he could see more detail. The photos went back in time to the very first owner of the camera. He saw a black and white photograph of a small boy standing on a beach. He was smiling kindly and waving to the camera. Sam thought quietly to himself. He suddenly knew what he had to do. He lay on his stomach and click! He took the camera, walked to the shoreline, and tossed it gently back into the waves. What adventures would the mysterious camera have next? Who would be the next lucky owner? That's the first time through with no clues. Second time, I'm going to make things a bit more obvious. If you're writing these down, get ready. If you're counting, get ready with your fingers. Sam stared at the strange creature through his magnifying glass. It had a patterned shell, small claws, and funny-looking antennae. Sam was a curious child, and he loved to explore all sorts of weird and wonderful things. What else can I find hiding on the beach? He wondered to himself. He quickly grabbed his bucket and spade and walked down to the shoreline. He was busy investigating a crab when suddenly he was tipped over by a huge wave. Crash! What was that lying in the sand? A mysterious box. Sam picked up the box and looked at it carefully. It was an underwater camera. He asked everyone on the beach, but they didn't know who it belonged to. When he opened the camera, Sam found an old film case. He rushed excitedly to the nearest photo shop to have the pictures developed. What would he find in the photos? He waited patiently for a very chatty woman to finish the pictures. When he finally saw them, he was amazed. In one photo, a clockwork fish was swimming through the ocean. In other pictures, a blue spotty octopus was reading a book, a pufferfish was flying through the air, and turtles were swimming gracefully with beautiful shell cities on their backs. In others, tiny green aliens had landed underwater, and enormous starfish islands were marching through the waves. Sam couldn't believe his eyes. The camera had captured secrets of the deep that people hadn't ever seen before. What's this? There were pictures of people in the photos. Sam looked even more closely. There were lots and lots of people, and each person was holding a picture. Sam peered carefully through his microscope so he could see more detail. The photos went back in time to the very first owner of the camera. He saw a black and white photograph of a small boy standing on a beach. He was smiling kindly and waving to the camera. Sam thought quietly to himself. He suddenly knew what he had to do. He lay on his back lay on his stomach and click! He took the camera, walked to the shoreline and tossed it gently back into the waves. What adventures would the mysterious camera have next? Who would be the next lucky owner? Did you spot them? Did you find all of those adverbs? There were lots and lots and lots in the story Flotsam, which is great because it means we can use them in our own writing. Now, your job today is on Class Dojo, on the stories, and it was posted last night as well. There are sentences that are missing adverbs, and you get to choose which adverbs you use. If you're feeling really confident, you can have a go at this on your own without me. You can stop this video in a minute and have a go yourself. If you think, Mrs. Scully and I need a little bit more help, that's fine. Keep watching the video and I'll go through one example at a time where you can pause and write it. Okay, here is one example we can look at together. The boy looked at the photographs. Which adverb do you think we could use there? The boy looked at the photographs. I mean, there are a couple I can remember from the story that we could use. We could use the word carefully. I'm going to use the word closely. He looked at them closely. The boy looked at the photographs closely. That is good. Absolutely no problem. If you write something like that in your book, absolutely no problem. If you decide to make it even better by using noun phrases as well, that is brilliant. This would get you those Thoughtful Thinker Dojo points. It might even get you the Personal Best Dojo points. The curious boy looked at the amazing photographs closely. Now, if you've got a printer at home, you might have printed off this sheet. Don't just write the adverb in the blank. I would like to see the full sentence written into your book. Not just putting one word on one line, is writing the whole sentence, which gives you the chance to add in some other words to make those noun phrases. If you're feeling confident, your activity looks like this. Here are the adverbs that you could use in the sentences. Have a go now. If you're sticking around for some extra help, that's absolutely fine. Have your pencil ready, because we're going to make a start. Use the adverbs in the box to complete the sentences. Here's the box, here's the sentence. Write each sentence in your English book. Here's the first one. You can write the start of the sentence now, so you can pause the video. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom. How did she tiptoe to her bedroom? Okay, if you've written this part, great. If you haven't, that's okay. We can do the whole thing and then you can write it. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom quickly. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom carefully. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom suddenly. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom patiently. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom kindly. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom quietly. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom closely. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom nervously. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom gracefully. The girl tiptoed to her bedroom gently. Now there are some there that do make sense and some that don't. You have to decide which one. How did she tiptoe to her bedroom? Quickly, carefully, suddenly, patiently, kindly. Quietly, closely, nervously, gracefully, gently. Which one works best, do you think? Write this sentence and choose an adverb now. I'm going to choose an adverb too and write it on the line. You're going to be writing the whole sentence. I choose the adverb quietly. Quietly. And see if I can use my magic pen to make this a bit bigger so that everybody can see. Whoa! Can we fit it all in? It doesn't look like we can fit it all in. Sorry, everybody. If you can't see this and it's too small, you'll be able to find the sentences on Class Dojo. Thought I might be able to make it a bit bigger, but we've been unlucky today. Okay, hopefully you've written sentence number 1. Here comes sentence number 2. Oh, not the magic pen. Sentence number 2. The teacher smiled. The teacher smiled. How did the teacher smile? Think about these adverbs. If you know the one you're going to do, start writing that sentence now. I'll read the adverb so you can have a think. The teacher smiled quickly. The teacher smiled carefully. The teacher smiled suddenly. The teacher smiled patiently. The teacher smiled kindly. Is there one on that line that you think, oh yeah, that's a good one, I'm going to use that? The teacher smiled quietly, closely, nervously, gracefully, or gently. Decide now and write your sentence. Pause the video to give yourself time. I think the one that works best for the teacher smiled is kindly. Did you think kindly too? The teacher smiled kindly. If you haven't finished writing that sentence, pause the video and write it now. Going on to the next example. If you're feeling confident now and you don't need my help, you don't need the rest of this video. You can go and do it on your own independently. That would be brilliant. The man waited something outside the room. So he's outside the room and he's waiting. Maybe there are a couple of options here. How did the man wait? The man waited quickly. The man waited carefully. The man waited suddenly. The man waited patiently. The man waited closely. The man waited nervously. The man waited gracefully. Or the man waited gently. I can see 2 that I think work really well. Which one are you going to choose? The man waited... I guess it depends on the room. If it's a nice room, you'll wait patiently. If it's not a nice room and he doesn't want to go in, you'll wait there nervously. Write your sentence now. I'm going to choose one of these. I think patiently. A man waited patiently outside the room. I've used patiently. Number 4. Everybody ready? She passed me the scissors. How did she pass you the scissors? Quickly, carefully, suddenly, closely, nervously, gracefully, gently. She passed me the scissors. Which adverb works best? Quickly, carefully, suddenly. Patiently, kindly, quietly, closely, nervously, gracefully, gently. You decide. She passed me the scissors. Choose your adverb. Write your sentence. Pause the video if you need to. I think the best one here is carefully. What we're always saying when we're at school is you should be very careful when you have scissors. Hold them carefully, move around the room carefully, pass them carefully. Careful. Carefully. Make sure that you've done 4 sentences. They don't have to be exactly the same as mine. And then we can move on to number 5. He peered at the photographs. Ooh, okay. Well, we've looked at this one already. We've looked at one very, very similar to this in our examples earlier. He peered at the photographs quickly, suddenly, closely, gently. How did he peer at the photographs? Decide now and write your sentence. He peered at the photographs. I think the one that fits best here is closely. I'm going to write the word closely. Make sure you finish number 5. Pause the video if you need to. Closely. I'm moving on to number 6. If you haven't finished number 5, pause the video and catch up. Here's number 6. The children ate their lunch. Now, we've talked about greedily before for eating. Greedily isn't there. What else could we use instead? The children ate their lunch. You might have an idea. If you do, brilliant. Start writing the sentence. The children ate their lunch quickly, suddenly, nervously, gently. I know which one I think fits best. Maybe it's the same as yours. Have that idea in your head. The children ate their lunch quickly. The children ate their lunch quickly. The children ate their lunch quickly. Okay, 2 more examples. I'm going to show them both at the same time, and I'd like you to have a go yourself for these last 2. The dancer, so perhaps a ballet dancer or a ballroom dancer. The dancer turned around. You can choose one. And then number 8, the man disappeared. How did he disappear? The man disappeared. Choose one of these 4 for both of these. Suddenly, nervously, gracefully, gently. Number 7, the dancer turned around. And number 8, the man disappeared. How did he disappear? Once you've finished all 8 sentences, take a photo and send it to me on your profile, or on your portfolio on Class Dojo. Well done, everybody. I love adding adverbs into writing. It makes it much, much more interesting. I know today's video was a bit long. Tomorrow's is going to be shorter because it's you using some of these in your own writing. If you look on this activity, underneath on Class Dojo, there is an extension. You don't have to do the extension, but it's there if you would like to. A little bit more practice is always a good thing. Well done, everybody, and I'll see you again soon.